What is up, everybody, and welcome back to our reactions to the summer phenomenon that was Barbennheimer. I guess we can just get right into it. Not a lot of housekeeping with the first week of semester rolling around. I guess we kind of talked about this already, but how are you guys' first weeks looking?
Not too bad. I mean, it was a little tougher than I was expecting, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
A bit hectic. But hoping the second week is going to be a smooth ride. Better.
Yeah.
Also pretty rough, but we're getting through it.
I think for me, it was just reminding myself that my schedule is busy compared to the very chill summer.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of a culture shock of like, oh, crap, okay, back into it.
Yeah.
But we're making it through. And I guess for the next hour or so, we get to talk about Barbennheimer, which was incredibly fun. I don't really know. Do you guys want to start? Actually, I've been dying to talk about Barbie. We're going to talk about Barbie first. I guess if you guys want to go ahead and initial reactions to Barbie.
You want to start?
I mean, I loved it. See, here's the thing. I knew it was going to be... I didn't know. I didn't know if it was going to be good or not.
Right.
So when I went in, I was like, okay. And right when the first act started and we were in Barbie Land and all like I just was like, this is cinema. This is it right here. And like going into the real world and how they deal with like messages in this movie, and the writing's really good and the performances. I'm just like, damn. At the end of it, I was like, this is really fun.
Yeah,
it's really good. And not have to go watch Oppenheimer.
That's right. You're not looking forward to it.
I wasn't, but I'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I ended up liking it.
The one thing I did want to say, the performances were astounding to me because they were just having fun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've seen actors have like that much just dumb fun filming a movie. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Well, I mean, like, Ryan Gosling's acts were all, like, improv, or most of them were.
That's right.
So, I actually really want to see the bloopers. I hope they come out with it, because apparently every time Margot Robbie laughed, he came up with a new bit.
Yeah.
So, there's just a ton of stuff we haven't seen.
I'm assuming you also liked it then.
Oh, I love Barbie. But, like, it was as good as I was expecting it to be, but in totally different ways than I was expecting. Like, it really... Like, the elements that I thought were going to be there were, but the way that they handled things, it was so good. It was funny, it was emotional, it was a great movie.
Yeah.
I watched it somewhat recently, and so it's still like pretty fresh in my head. So going in, I was like, I went in with a group of friends, and all my friends were like, oh, I heard it's kind of preachy, because none of us have seen it before, right? So we all kind of went in blind. We didn't watch really any of the trailers. We just kind of heard from people, and then we're like, whatever, we have a free day, let's go watch it, right?
Yeah.
And so, we heard all the bad things of like, oh, it's preachy, it's da-da-da, you know what I mean? And I went in, I was like, whatever, it is what it is. I'm just going to go watch it, and I'm going to enjoy it. And I loved it.
Yes.
I absolutely loved it. I think at times, I think there was moments where I was like, okay, I mean, it doesn't feel like a blockbuster at times. If I feel, you know what I mean? But I think that was kind of the point, right? It was like, it was meant to be this Mattel kind of thing. And Mattel's known for like kind of their cheap plastic, whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so I love that. And I love that they shit on Mattel the whole time.
I am amazed. It makes me wonder if like Mattel didn't, like, they were like, yeah, we're going to hire Greta, let her do her thing. And then a couple of the employees started watching. They're like, "Oh, okay, she went that direction." But they had to have known, right? Had to.
Yeah.
Who knows? We got the good movie now.
But the whole movie, I was like, "Okay, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. This was okay. This was pretty good." The moment where I was like, "All right, this was one of my favorite movies of the year," was at the very end. It was The Void.
Oh yeah.
It was when Barbie went into the void with what was her name again?
Like the creator.
The creator, right?
Yeah.
She went into the void, and like the symphony, the music, Billie Eilish playing, and like the flashbacks of like all these different women, and then the score building. It was. I watched that and I'm like, this is like how Ronny said, like, this is cinema. And it's really funny. So when I go watch movies with my friends, nobody else is like a film person, right? They just kind of
really?
like movies.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really funny because I'm there and I'm like watching the film and I'll do this when I'm like, oh, this is sick. And so now I got my friends doing it too. So when the void hit, I just saw like in the corner of my eye 4 of these.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, no, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was phenomenal.
Yeah. I'm, of course, similar boat. I loved it. I went in with lower expectations. And then I walked out, like, how could I doubt Greta Gerwig? I've loved every single one of her movies. I should have gone in with, like, yeah, of course I'm going to like this. And I watched it twice because, of course, I watched it on my, like, first time. And then I had to watch it with the rest of my family and stuff. And, like, my dad hasn't seen it yet because he's being all weird about it. But anyways, yeah, no, they all loved it. I think, though, Void is probably, like, my second favorite part. First favorite part is the whole beach war part, just for how funny it was. And then the dance battle. And I have the I Am Ken song, like, unironically in my playlist because I just love that moment so much. But yeah, I guess outside of that, I'm trying to think. The whole character of Alan specifically, I've been waiting to talk about Alan.
Oh, I loved it.
So dumb.
I loved it. I was like, I saw Alan, I'm like, that's me. I'm an Alan.
Just a guy.
Yeah.
Just a dude.
But then they have a whole fight scene for like no real reason.
I was like, what's going on? It was so funny. And then they never mention it again.
Nope.
Actually, they do. They're like, yeah, I beat those guys up. Oh, well.
And the fact that they were building the wall like vertically instead of, there were so many just little moments, like rewatching the movie again, so many moments that because there's so much happening at once, I feel like, that rewatching I was able to appreciate a lot of the stuff more. Such as them trying to build a vertical wall and him being like, as soon as they learn how to build it horizontally, we'll be screwed. There's just so much. I don't even know. And then the real world stuff was amazing. That's when I think that was another moment where I'm like, wow, they really are doing some cool stuff with this.
Yeah, I really love what they did with Barbie's arc in particular. Like with her like going and then finding out that the world isn't what she thought it was, and her like trying to reckon with that. I thought it was really compelling, especially with Margot Robbie doing all the acting. Like, I think this is like her titular role as Barbie. Like, hers Harley Quinn is pretty good, but like, I don't know, I feel like she really owned it, and she was given the material by Greta, and I think her husband co-wrote with her. But she was given the material to like go there. It was really powerful.
Absolutely.
She really went there too. Like, her performance was really good, especially like the emotional moments of her, like the bench scene specifically. That was really cool, and I guess they were wanting to cut that. I don't know if maybe
they were.
That's crazy to me.
I know, because it was actually my favorite moment of the film.
Really?
I think. Like, it was like the moment that I was like, oh my God. I really liked it. And the thing about Barbie for me was that I was really caught off guard because it was such a comedic movie, and then would have such an emotional moment and then go immediately back into a bit. So I would be like emotionally devastated and then laughing hysterically. It was a roller coaster. But definitely like the real world scene, I think, was just great, of watching Ken be like, oh my God, this is the best place ever. And then
patriarchy.
Like, Barbie having this emotional crisis of like, oh God, girls don't like me. And like, women aren't liberated because I live in Barbie world type thing. It's really good.
I was surprised how much they weren't afraid to go into that of like, yeah, we've solved sexism and women rule the world now. Like, they were so willing to just go 100% in and really tackle. And especially the moments of Barbie's taking over the Ken world and all of that, and the whole like monologue that was happening. Oh, those were so good.
Yeah. Like, definitely my favorite part, like, of the overall movie was how they explored how both, like, matriarchy and patriarchy are bad.
Yeah.
Because, again, people thought it was going to be a really preachy movie, and they easily could have done the whole, like, patriarchy. But, like, including both of that, I think really made the message stand out and kind of made it hard for them to be like, you're just preaching and you hate men, because which part of the message was like, hey, we're all human beings and we can all have emotions and nobody should be forced to not have a home.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised that those reactions were coming out of the movie of like, oh, this is preachy, they hate men. But like watching the movie, it really makes it hard for you to even make that argument because of the ending, because of the Barbies reckoning with where Ken should be placed in society, because like they do need something to do. They aren't just, throwaways or whatnot. So I don't know. It's just like an all-inclusive movie, which I think is really cool.
I feel like a lot of the people that are very negative on the movie just didn't. They were very focused on that and they weren't willing to look past it and also find it funny. Like they are treating it in a more, like you said, like a more comedic but also serious way. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you just kind of have to laugh at it and like, yeah, world's kind of messed up, of course. You just have to live with it and laugh at it a little bit.
Live, laugh, love.
I feel like most people who, like, I've had conversations with that criticize it in the preachy way haven't seen the movie. They're always like, it's obviously preachy. And it's like, did you see it? Of course not. It's like, okay.
It's always it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like you said, I get why people are angry. Like, in terms of, like, yeah, of course they're going to be angry about it.
Yeah.
But they can stay angry and not appreciate.
Stay mad.
Exactly. Stay mad. That's true.
Yeah.
It's also like the cultural phenomenon that Barbie is. Like, did you guys wear pink going in?
So I saw it at like midnight, so no.
Okay. Gotcha. Did you wear pink, Jaxson? Okay,
No.
I wore pink, and when I went in, and like the whole theater I was in was like in pink, guys, girls, everyone, and like even a week after, it was like. It was 2 weeks after, on a Saturday, I was at the movies seeing Mission Impossible again. And like just droves and droves of people were coming out of their cars in pink, just going to see Barbie. And I was like,
That's
wow,
sick.
like this is sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it really late. So I saw it like literally last week. And so when I watched it, it was just me and my friends in the theater. There's nobody else.
That's pretty nice.
So it was nice. So like we were laughing hysterically because we knew there was nobody else to like bother.
It's always fun.
Yeah, I didn't dress up, but I definitely saw that a lot. And then people like dressed up as pink, taking pictures next to Oppenheimer, or very vice versa, dressing up for Oppenheimer in the Barbie box. I kind of wish Stefan was here. He couldn't make it this episode, but he did that. He dressed up, watched both of them the same day. Yeah, I guess I think he watched Barbie first, dressed up for that, went home to dress into his Oppenheimer outfit to then go out with friends and watch Oppenheimer. And
respect.
Respect. I don't think I would have enjoyed that.
No.
But none of you guys did that, right? You all watched it separate times?
I
watched it I watched Oppenheimer the next day.
Okay. Do you guys want to talk about Oppenheimer then?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Sorry.
Oh.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
And it's like historical, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you haven't seen it. That's right. That's what
you Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you good with spoilers?
Yes,
okay.
Okay.
I guess.
Spoilers on history.
Yeah.
It's historical, and I know a lot
the
about
bomb
like,
went off.
But,
It worked.
Yeah.
Also, it's canon that Josh Peck launched the nuke. So, you know.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. I saw a lot of people said that they were taken out of the movie every time he showed up. You were.
I straight up was.
It was kind of bizarre, yeah.
I was in like the front row. I saw it the first week it came out, right?
You were like the meme of like, no, what's it? Willem Dafoe, like, oh.
Kinda, yeah, honestly. It was like right before like a week of like wedding stuff for my cousin.
That's right.
And so I was like, if I don't watch it now, I'm not going to.
Yeah. Because
I will not be able to find 3 hours again, right? I just had a free night. Everybody was busy. I called my girlfriend. She's like, nope. And I'm like, call my friends. They're like, sorry, dude. So I'm like, I'm going to go myself.
Yeah.
Because I had, 4 hours to kill. So I went by myself. There was one seat left. There was one seat left in the whole theater.
Did you go, to the one in the big...
I went to the actual IMAX one.
Okay,
The 9000 South Jordan Commons.
Jordan Commons.
And it was worth. It was really hot because there was a lot of people in there, but it was worth. But it was weird. It was weird watching. One, I haven't gone to a movie by myself in a while, so I was just kind of sitting there with my like fingers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean. Princess Mononoke returned to theaters, and I'm like, I'm not gonna try to find a group. I'm just gonna watch it by myself. And it was that of like before and after. I'm just like, okay, cool. Put in my earbuds, walk back to my car.
Yep.
Like, fun experience. But
I thought so. The one thing that I noticed right at the gate of Oppenheimer was all different kinds of people were there to watch it. It wasn't just like in my head. I was like, oh, it's just gonna be like film nerds, right?
yeah.
But everybody was there. People brought their kids, which I was like, that's kind of a weird flex.
I don't know if it's a flex.
Yeah.
It's like, I wouldn't bring my kid to this one, but
No. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I really like the film. I think it's vastly different from Barbie. Like it's kind of hard to compare the two, just because one is so dark and one is so light. And don't get me wrong, like Barbie has its dark moments, you know what I mean, talking about matriarchy. And then Oppenheimer has kind of, what I thought was kind of funny was Robert Downey Jr.'s character just like freaking out because Oppenheimer and Albert Einstein like had a bro moment.
I did find it really funny of like, we finally figure out what they were talking about. Not at all associated with it. Of course it's not.
Right.
He's just in his own head and he's the main character, I guess. Like he feels like he's the main character.
Like you're not that guy.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was very good. I gave it a 4.65 out of 5.
Okay.
And I gave Barbie the exact same rating,
Okay.
which I thought was interesting, but for two very different reasons, right? I thought Oppenheimer was objectively one of Christopher Nolan's best films. I think the directing was great. I think the acting was great. The cinematography was fantastic. Van Hoyt just knocked it out of the park.
Ludwig Göransson also on the soundtrack.
Right.
Absolutely killed it. Like
Masterpiece.
I've been following him for a while, ever since his Childish Gambino days. This is his best work, easily.
I don't know. Childish Gambino days were pretty good.
Pretty good, but like it was mixed.
Gambino's like my favorite rapper. Fun fact. But yeah, no, I agree. I think he's the next Zimmer.
Yeah, easily. I think this is okay. I don't know, because I feel like he's been working up to that point. I've been saying this, I feel like, for a while. I don't know if I've ever said it like on content or anything. I feel like he's getting to that point. I feel like this was it for me, where I'm like, he is already there. I just don't know if from the public perception he's there, in terms of like, if you say like John Williams or Hans Zimmer, most people know who that is. If I say Ludwig Göransson, it's like, oh, you don't understand. He did Oppenheimer, he did Tenet, he did Wakanda Forever, Black Panther, stuff
Joker.
like that. Joker, that's right.
The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did Mandalorian too?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So many stuff.
But yeah, the score was great, and I think the use of practical was very important for the film. I think Barbie used a lot of practical too, which I thought was really good. I thought it was funny. Obviously, they used quite a bit of CGI as well, but Oppenheimer, I think the use of sole practical effect was, I feel like, important to the film, if that makes sense. I think it wouldn't have been the same film if they didn't.
No.
What I thought was really funny was I went in and I'm sitting down and I'm like watching the movie. For the first 20 minutes, I'm like, this is an art film.
Well, because like, I think a lot, because I've been listening, I have a lot of the songs added to my playlist as well. Can you hear the music? I think it is. That's when it's like, you see Oppenheimer seeing all of the neutrons and electrons, and like, it is very artsy. And I was like, wow, this is beautiful in its own way, but also like, I don't know, that 20 minutes was magical. For
sure. And I was like, I did not expect it. I was expecting, a blockbuster. It's Oppenheimer. Oh my gosh, $100 million budget, whatever, right? But I went in, I'm like, this is an art film. Like, I feel like a student, you know what I mean? It's like a student thought process. Like, oh, we'll make strings and like.
That is one thing of like, this is Nolan's most different movie for me. Like, I feel like a lot of, and it still keeps like the Nolan vibes for me. But if I were to watch like an Interstellar or Inception, they have very similar vibes to me. Oppenheimer felt very different.
It was different, for sure.
I agree with that.
What did you think of it then? I know you weren't too excited going in.
I'm like, it's just, I do like Interstellar from Christopher Nolan and of course the Batman films. I will agree with you. Like this film is like very different vibe. But yeah, I was surprised that it kept me engaged for 3 hours and it was basically just talking, one explosion. That was it. And I thought all the performances were stellar. The cinematography, just pretty much what PR said. I do think that the practical effects were very impressive. I don't know. There's a YouTube video online, and it's these guys trying to recreate shots from Oppenheimer. It's really cool. But I don't know. I feel like it was just a really solid movie, like, but nothing to write home about for me personally. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, is it just me or did I feel like the nuclear explosion was a bit underwhelming?
It was very underwhelming. And I think it was meant to be more of like the build up to it rather than the actual nuke, right? And I think another reason is just Josh Peck.
He's just there, you see his reaction shots. It's like
because I have no, like, I know that he's like in that show Drake and Josh, right? Okay. I know that. So I've never watched that show. I don't have a lot of context with him. But it took me out. I was flabbergasted by that moment, if I'm being honest. Especially like the delay between like, and you're constantly anticipating it, which is like a theme that they bring out throughout the movie. I think they use it 2 more times. Just like waiting for the sound. And then in that IMAX, when it does hit, it jumps scared me. It was so cool. I did not find it. I felt like that was the moment that I think about a lot. That one, and then him in the auditorium thinking back, like when it starts to hit him a little bit more. Because maybe that's why it was underwhelming, is he's like, okay, we've done it, sweet. But now he doesn't really think about the effects of that. He's been so focused on getting there. Like, what is the... he's so worried about creating it, he never thought about whether they should create it. Mm-hmm. And then that audience scene... when he is kind of cheering it on and then he is like walking through burned corpses and stuff and it's like in his own head, that was another moment that I keep thinking back to a lot.
Yeah. I think when I say underwhelming, I mean like the explosion itself. I think the best part of that scene was like the light shining on everyone in the silence. Yeah. Just like the blinding white and the reaction shots. But like I was talking about like the actual like bomb fiery thing.
Yeah, I agree with that then.
I think the best thing I like about this movie is like the historical like knowledge that I like gained from it. I knew about the Red Scare and about that whole thing, but I didn't know that they were simultaneously happening together. And so there was so much communism in this movie. I was like, wait, what? And I was just learning like so many things. And I just found that really engaging.
Yeah. I've actually met a couple people. It seems because they'll walk away and they'll be like, yeah, I didn't really like it. And then they focus a lot on that first hour because of the communism stuff.
It's so funny.
I find that hilarious, yeah. But same, like I said, I think in the predictions, I knew a little bit of the history. Like I recognize the name Strauss, and obviously I knew like Albert Einstein helped a little bit, but felt like it was too much and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I did not know about the Red War stuff, or Red Scare.
Like
stuff.
Him going through that whole screening at the end. Yeah, that was amazing. I think Josh Peck wasn't like the most distracting thing for me. It was like all of like the other A-list actors that would like pop up, like Florence Pugh just coming in and just being there and leaving, and then like I don't know, Emily Blunt just being there, and like I don't know, it's just so much star power.
Though was so good.
It was really good, but the whole time I was like, chill. It's like, calm down, bro. It's not that deep.
Well, like,
I know, kind of was.
I mean, yeah, but like, I don't know.
Obviously, I haven't seen it, but that did kind of catch me off guard because a lot of historical films, especially I feel like what Christopher Nolan would want to do is to immerse you in the creation of like in that whole story, and definitely putting all those A-list actors is not going to do that. Well, I remember looking at the cast list and being like, oh my Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I think of like Dunkirk specifically, outside of Harry Styles, which was really weird, and Tom Hardy. Mm-hmm. There were not a lot of notable actors in that. Yeah. Sorry, the baby's distracting me. It definitely didn't take me out, and for example, like Colton, we were talking about it, one of the EAE professors. He didn't really vibe with it because he felt like it was that in terms of like a lot of almost cameos is how we put it.
Albert Einstein cameo. Let's go.
Right. Like, oh my gosh, Matt Damon now, Robert Downey Jr. stuff. Yeah. And I was like, I get that.
One thing that I love the film. I thought it was done kind of perfectly in certain ways. One thing that like in my head I'm like, who am I to kind of criticize this? But at the same time I'm like, I didn't love it. The scene that you're talking about, like with the audience and then him kind of having that realization, is it just me or I wish he was a little bit more sharp, like the focus wise. I don't know if you guys noticed that. His focus was very soft that whole time. And I understand they're very deep in. I understand it's kind of hard to like, catch focus. First AC is a hard job. But, this is a $100 million film. And I have a feeling like he did it on purpose to create that kind of...
That's what I'm thinking.
Like, since his headspace is soft, like kind of fuzzy, maybe like that's why he's kind of fuzzy. I don't know. But in my head, like that was the only thing where I was like, I wish he was just a little bit sharper. Yeah. Because it was like, it wasn't distracting. It was just like, you know what I mean? Like, at least for me.
In a similar way, that makes me want to rewatch it. And I've been trying to rewatch it for a while now. Just time's never worked out. Just because, like, I didn't catch that first time. But I think it was just, like, the impact of it. And, like, a lot of that, I want to say, like, the last half of that movie was a lot of me sitting there like, oh, wow, this is very deep. And, like, in my own thoughts as well. So I think when that happens, I'm also in my own thoughts. So I'm, like, paying attention, obviously, to the screen, but not in that specific of a way, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I do want to rewatch it and see if that affects with me. I don't know.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, other than that, that's like, I think they were both good. Which one do you guys liked more? I feel like, because to me, they were equal.
Like we all know the answers to everybody's answer for that.
Yeah, everybody's Barbie, I'm assuming.
Oh, no, I liked Oppenheimer more.
You like Oppenheimer more? Really? Interesting.
Yeah. Nolan is like one of my favorite directors. I even like Tenet, which I know is controversial and blah, 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 blah. But for me, this was like top 3 Nolan movies, which means it's like easily in some of my favorite movies ever. Like I said, I still want to rewatch it. I think with Tenet especially, I learned rewatching Nolan movies helps me understand a lot more of what's happening. But yeah, you guys all Barbie?
They're equal to me. They both got a 4.65 on my scale on my rating board, and that has never happened.
Really?
Damn. Where I've been comparing 2 movies and they've hit the same mark for different reasons. Mm-hmm. Like the doxing, like the reason that it's a 4.65 for Oppenheimer for me was 1, the soft focus. That was a little distracting for me. 2, it was just. When the bomb dropped, I kind of felt how Ronny felt, where it was like just a little underwhelming. But I do want to see it again, and maybe that'll change my kind of perspective. Same thing for Barbie. The reason Barbie is a little less is because I felt like the things that they did perfect was like the art direction, the set design. It was done brilliantly. Yeah. Barbie Land was so good, and I can't even express how good it was.
I was thinking about this. Do you think... Like, they still have to have some of those props because they're all practical. They gotta make, like, a Barbie Land, like, resort or something.
It's there.
It's there, right? Yeah. They just need to take the same props.
They're filming a lot of commercials in Barbie Land right now. Like, I saw a progressive commercial. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah.
Interesting.
Did you see Flo and that other progressive guy at the red carpet for Barbie? I thought that was funny. Yeah. The Barbie marketing campaign was insane. That is a campaign to look at and like study. It's so good. Like they had like pink shakes in Brazil and like Barbie like posters everywhere, trailers. Like you couldn't get away from it. I still can't get away from it. No.
I'm not an Xbox person, but the Barbie Xbox almost got me.
Like, there's a Barbie Xbox?
Damn, I was looking to get an Xbox. I missed my chance.
They also built the Barbie house in Malibu.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is crazy.
I liked their popcorn buckets that they had, where you could get the Barbie car and fill it with popcorn, but then it came with an actual Barbie.
What?
That's kind of sick.
It's insane. All their marketing budget is gone now. Like,
I mean, I guess it's gone, but also like they just got $1 billion.
True. Yeah.
I know that I had a classmate who watched Barbie, and then he got like the take home cup, and he was just like, "This is my new water bottle," because I love that movie so much.
I was actually talking to my creative advertising professor about Barbie and kind of like the marketing strategy behind it. For reference, he's like a legend in the marketing world. He was the creative director for McCann Group for 30 years.
Damn.
So like he's the shit. But I was talking to him and he's like, dude, they fucking knocked it out of the park. Like,
Wow.
Think about it. Like, how long has Mattel been running, Barbie commercials on like Nickelodeon or like whatever, right? And then some guy was like, hey, fuck a commercial. Let's make a movie. Because Barbie was dipping like drastically. Like nobody was buying Barbies. Nobody really cared about them anymore.
For me, it's my 6-year-old sister is now like, oh, I have a bunch of Barbies now. And was playing with them because we kept talking about the movie. Right. And eventually we went to watch the movie with her. She didn't get it. But she's been playing with Barbies ever. Like, that was not a thing.
Yeah. And now they're literally everywhere. And Mattel's stock has shot up like nobody's business. Mm-hmm. And I love that Mattel was okay with Greta just shitting on them for 2 hours, which I think was the perfect thing to do. Yeah. Because if you take yourself too seriously, then the movie's going to be shit, right? If Mattel's like, no, we're good. No, you're not.
Cast Will Ferrell as a very obvious. We haven't even talked about Will Ferrell, but he has like a really kind of just dumb executive, and then the offices are very black and bleak. Oh, so good.
Very good.
Yeah.
I definitely liked Barbie more.
I figured that.
Yeah. But I still liked Oppenheimer. I mean,
I'm surprised honestly by that. Because, I mean, as we said, it's a little bit, I mean, maybe that just is that first hour that is very artsy-fartsy, but, like, that's what you would, but that's what you had said, like, going into, like, in our reactions, was that, like, you appreciate Nolan, but you also don't necessarily like a lot of his movies.
I thought it was going to be artsy-fartsy the whole thing through, and it was just going to be him indulging in himself, like, the whole thing, but it wasn't. Which I liked. But yeah, like you said, I appreciate Nolan. I love Interstellar. I love space movies. And I think that's like the space movie for me.
Agreed.
So for that, I just love Nolan.
I still think Interstellar is my number one.
It's number one and number two for me too.
Yeah. Where does, I mean, if you guys know, where does Oppenheimer line up in that then?
It's below the Batman films for me and below Interstellar, but it's like right below that.
I think I'd put it above Inception.
That's what I think. Yeah.
So, like, I think it would go Interstellar, Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Oppenheimer.
I'd put it above Batman Begins for me.
But really?
Yeah.
I love Batman.
I love Batman Begins.
It's so good.
It's one of my favorite movies ever.
That's actually one thing that, because Scarecrow's got me thinking, Cillian Murphy, like...
Oh, fucking phenomenal.
So good. It makes me want to watch Peaky Blinders now.
Dude, Peaky Blinders is good.
It's so good.
So good. I'm so glad that he finally got a chance to, because he's always been a side character, at least in my brain he has, to get like a full Nolan movie where he just is able to stare and like show so much, which is so funny because like that was most of his acting.
Right.
Staring into your soul.
But every stare was different. I'm just kidding. No, but he knocked it out of the... I feel like a lot of the actors in Oppenheimer was like one of their best performances. Even Robert Downey Jr., which like he just got off of Iron Man, which I felt like was amazing. And the entire time I'm like, oh my gosh, he can act.
The thing is, they're all playing really shitty people. Like every single one of them, I would, except for maybe like the general, I guess, Matt Damon's character, but like every single one of them, I would not want to like be around them. And you still find like glimmers of something to like care about in each and every one of them. Besides Strauss, who's just kind of an asshole, but he's supposed
That's
to be.
how I felt with Emily Blunt's character of like, she taking stuff a little bit too seriously, but you can see a little bit of like, even though she's drunk most of the time, and like, which for Emily Blunt was weird. Like, she did a good job, but the whole time I'm like, this is this is Mary Poppins. Like, what is happening?
She's not taking care of the kids. She hates her kid, actually. But she's always there for Oppenheimer, and she was the back when he was like breaking down. She was there to pick him back up. So that's what I liked about her character.
True.
But,
Yeah,
She called him out. She's like, stop being a little bitch.
yeah, basically.
Stop letting these hoes get you down. But no, similar boat with Barbie. I feel like Ryan Gosling's performance.
talked enough about
we
it.
haven't
I
talked
know.
enough.
So good.
So good.
Phenomenal.
I thought that Margot Robbie obviously killed Barbie. She is Barbie in
Yes.
my mind. Like, she killed it. Ryan Gosling, though, so good in this film. Like, he stole it, I think, for me.
Yeah.
Like, acting-wise. Not only with the improv bits, but just, like, I always forget that he's, like, a professionally trained, like, he's, like, a Broadway dancer and singer.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh.
I really want to watch La La Land now for
You haven't
that.
watched it?
No.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Okay, I'll watch it soon.
I'm in the same boat as you. I like started it and I'm like, I can't do this right now.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it either, so I think Ryan Gosling was like a note. Like, I just left the Notebook in my head.
Oh wow, I knew him from Blade Runner, so this is
That's
very,
what- yeah,
very
I'm
different.
kind of from Blade Runner.
Where he's like a replicant and like no emotion, very little. Like the most emotion is him angry, and then now it's him.
Every single second of screen time, he like stole
Yeah.
from everyone.
And
Like,
his
facial expressions. So funny.
I have so many gifs saved of him like putting on the double glasses or I'll say that one. But and then like what I keep quoting specifically from him is the once I learned the patriarchy wasn't about horses, I lost interest. I just say that all the time around my house now.
My favorite is when he's like, it's kind of the same thing, but it's earlier in the film when he's like, at first I thought patriarchy was about horses, but then I found out that like horses are an extension of man.
That's the other, yeah, I'm curious how many of those are improv. Like I feel like
know.
all of them have to be.
Like, at least I believe most of him with like Margot Robbie. I
Yeah.
think the Sublime thing, obviously, some of the funniest.
I've seen the behind the scenes of that. But also I heard this, maybe I'm not sure if it's true, but the whole like rivalry between him and Simu Liu was from like an improv bit where they were like, we need someone to do a backflip, and of course Simu Liu was like, yeah, I can do that for like the thing. This is like them planning out the choreography, and then he does it, and you just see Ryan Gosling like, oh my gosh, and Greta's like, wait, stop, hold up, and then rewrote the script for that rivalry. I was like, oh my gosh.
That's great.
Oh,
Simu Liu was so underrated, I feel like, in this whole film. Because Ryan Gosling stole Ken, right?
yes.
But I feel like Simu Liu didn't get enough like attention, I feel like, because he was so good, too.
True.
Oh,
He's slowly working up to be one of my favorite actors, I feel like.
for sure.
Oh, I love him so much.
I've been following him since back in like the Wong Fu production days, like on
Really?
YouTube.
Wow.
And so I was like seeing him become Shang-Chi and then like now Ken and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, he made it.
Yeah. I recently watched Kim's Convenience and seeing him in that. That is such an underrated, like,
It's underrated because it was a Canadian show, so we didn't really get exposure to it here. But then I watched it on Netflix and I was taken. I was like, this is so good.
So good. I also feel like, this is getting a little bit of a tangent, the little clip that they show for Kim's Convenience of the cousin coming back and she's got like a very stereotypical Asian accent or whatever, not the best clip to show for people trying to get sold on that show. Because it's not even like the funniest moment or whatever. I don't
For
know.
sure.
Yeah.
Also, one last side tangent.
Yeah.
The dad in Kim's Convenience, he's Uncle Iroh in live action.
I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, I actually met Uncle Iroh, like Greg
really?
Baldwin.
Was that when Wacom was helping him out?
Yeah. So I interviewed him, and I was like, he's gonna do great as like a live action Uncle Iroh. I already feel it.
Oh, I can't wait.
But anyways,
Again,
what else?
Oh, real quick. Do you guys know, like, the story when Ryan Gosling accepted the Ken position?
I don't think so.
It is so funny to me. So, like, Greta came up to him and asked him, and he wasn't actually quite sure if he was going to do it, but he was taking a walk, and he finds a Ken doll like face down in the mud. And he takes a picture of it and he sends it to her and he's like, I'm in.
It was the Ken doll.
Yes, I'll
Wow.
show you the picture. It's so funny.
That's funny.
No,
That's
he's
funny.
That's just fate.
Yeah,
That
and he is Ken. I feel like a lot of people dogged on him when the promos were coming out.
Yeah, like
on,
he's too old and
on
stuff.
both
Are.
of them, which I don't know why people are like Margot Robbie's too old, but whatever.
I
She's
hated that. But then also the moment where the narrator is like, by the way, we cut like with a little
That was
fourth
funny.
wall break.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved that.
Yeah, the scene works with, or the scene doesn't work with Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
It's so ugly. It's like, what? It's funny that we talk about like Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, but like, what did you guys think about the other Kens and other Barbies? Like, I thought that the commentary on like Barbie being stereotypical Barbie and Ken being stereotypical Ken, and like having these like other facets of what Barbie can be, because Barbie can be anyone,
Yeah.
Mhm.
or Ken could be anyone, was like really impressive. And I like I forget her name, President Barbie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
She was like really good.
I really liked
And
it.
Weird Barbie.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw Kate McKinnon's name pop up on the like in the credits, like the pre-credits, I was like, what Barbie is she? And then I was like, oh.
Yeah, I really liked all of that and just showcasing Barbie and Ken can be anything that they want. And then also tying that into the end of like, no, I don't. Well, when they're like in maid costumes and tossing brewskis to all of the Kens and they're like, wait, no, this is not what I want to be and what they can be and stuff. Yeah, I really appreciated that.
That was, sorry.
Very good.
That was definitely one of the best like themes, I think, was like when Barbie had the whole like, I'm not President Barbie, I'm not Senate Barbie, I'm not a lawyer Barbie, I'm just Barbie.
Yeah.
And like, and Ken kind of has it too, where it's like, it's Barbie and Ken, like that whole, you have to be something or you're not good enough because you're not President Barbie or you're not just Barbie to Ken, and it was really good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
And I liked his arc as well of like, yeah, it's always Barbie and Ken, but that Ken needs to find himself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then also the thing that's happening in real life in terms of boyfriends and girlfriends being like, I'm too tied to our relationship. I need to figure out who I am. I'm not just Ken. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but that's been a trend of people saying like they watched the Barbie movie and then either someone just didn't get it. And it's like, oh, okay, we have vastly different perspectives on feminism. But also it's like, I put too much on this relationship. I need to find myself, which is really interesting to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Self-reflection.
Self-reflection is important.
Yeah. They really nailed it.
That really is what that movie kind of was. Like, I feel like everybody that watched the movie came out being like, I had to think for a long time after it. I was like, yeah.
Which is insane for a Barbie movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's insane that because that happened with both Barbie and Oppenheimer, two completely different movies, and both of them covered such topics that it's like one is thinking about, oh, humanity's going to go to great lengths to destroy itself, and the other one is like self-reflection within, myself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I remember leaving Oppenheimer and I was like, oh, the world sucks.
Yeah.
When I left Barbie, I'm like, I am Knuff.
I think you're gonna say, the world sucks, but I am Knuff.
I want that sweatshirt so bad.
There's a bunch of knockoffs that are like $10 on Amazon.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually seen a couple people wearing them on campus already. And I'm very jealous.
I'm not surprised. If
Yeah.
you're on Twitter, like they were in all the comment sections of
Mhm.
like anything Barbie related or not. It was
Yeah.
like, buy this Barbie t-shirt. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Oh, side note, could y'all hear like people like talking in Oppenheimer? Because like I feel like with Nolan's recent films, the sound mixing is like really weird. Like I couldn't understand.
Tenet
like,
was especially bad.
yeah.
Which I think was sometimes on purpose, sometimes not, in
Mm.
terms of like, that's a vibes movie. Oppenheimer felt better, but still, and it's just, Nolan suffers with that because he wants to like give the soundtrack enough and then it overshadows the talking.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt that in Oppenheimer.
It's like 3 hours of talking too. It's like you need to like hear everything, and then it's like blah, 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 and you can't hear it. I'm like, what the fuck did you say? Oh no,
Yeah.
that took me out a little bit.
I also feel like I'm just used to subtitles all the time now. So whenever I don't have subtitles, I'm like, what are they saying?
I saw a bunch of people have the little cup holder subtitle thing, and I was very tempted to like, I should probably go get one
A
because
must for Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
They have those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was funny because my dad and I walked in, and we weren't able to get seats next to each other. We were like, seat, another person, and then a seat. So we just asked him to move. But he had already set up like this cup holder thing, and he hadn't attached this caption thing. So we were like, is he like illegally gonna film? Like, what is happening with this whole setup? And he was kind of acting shady about it too. I don't know if that was just us like, I don't know, noticing what wasn't there or anything. We moved, set it up, and we're just like checking out what's going on in the corner of our eye. And then he finally screws in the actual caption thing. I'm like, oh, that's genius.
They do look so suspicious.
Right?
Yeah, because I worked in the movie theater.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I handed them out a lot. They're really handy. But God, there's been so many times that I've had like a new team member come up to me and go, I think somebody's recording. I'm like, no.
Well, that's what I was surprised of. Like, they have really figured out how to record stuff if they put it in the cup holder and then a camera attached to it. They've got to figure it out. I hope that eventually we get to a point where there's just subtitles in all movies. In Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles especially, I wish that there were subtitles for some of those moments where it's just the brothers talking over each other. All at once, yeah.
I don't get why people hate subtitles.
Me either.
Like, again, working at a movie theater, every time we had a subtitled like movie, this has subtitles in it. Yeah, it says it when you purchase the ticket. This has subtitles in it. But it's really not that big of a deal. I think it's better.
Well, I'm curious, since you've worked in a movie theater, how many, is that a thing where you can buy a ticket that specifically has subtitles, or is it depends?
If you look, at least like on Megaplex or whatever, it will tell you next to it, open caption, OC.
Yeah.
It will be huge because people get so annoyed and so many refunds need to be done. But yeah, so especially for bigger movies, we'll have at least 2 open captioned movies playing at a time. You just have to look out.
And that's different from closed caption? Because I see that a lot, closed caption. So is that optional?
Closed caption just means those devices that you were talking about. Those are closed caption devices, and then open caption means you don't have it. It's subtitles or nothing.
Yeah.
It's burnt in. Interesting.
Gotcha.
I never knew this.
I never knew this either.
I'm learning so much.
I wish that I had, because like I said, watch Princess Mononoke in theaters, and that obviously has captions because they're using the Japanese stuff. And I'm curious if it did say open captions, and I just didn't notice.
For those movies, they'll usually just say dub or sub next to it.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I watched the One Piece movie, it said dub. See, I snuck it in there.
I am curious. We got to do a Geek Out episode soon because I'm curious what's going on with
31st,
the live
baby.
action stuff.
August 31st.
Really?
3 days.
That's close.
For the live action?
3 days for the live action.
I didn't know it was that
I'm
close.
so excited.
That's the same day that Jujutsu Kaisen
I'm
comes
so
out.
excited. Because they did an interview with Oda. This is so off topic. You might have to cut this out. They did an interview with Luffy, like the live action Luffy, and Ichiro Oda, the mangaka. Yeah. And they did a sit down interview, and he's like, the reason I did it now is because technology's caught up. He's like, you are Luffy to the live the actor. He's like, when I saw your audition, he's like, this is my Luffy. Like, he is Luffy. You were born to be Luffy, is what he said.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's actually really cool. So are they going to handle the CGI stuff well in terms of?
We're hoping. I mean, we can only hope. That's all.
Sorry,
no,
that's what I'm scared of, is the body horror that's going to be Luffy if they don't do it properly. That's why I'm I'm going to wait till reviews come out. And then wait.
I'm watching it 31st. I'm on a plane at 2 p.m., so I'm downloading it the night, at midnight when it comes out, and I'm not going to touch it until the plane. I'm going to binge it on the plane.
Smart.
If it's bad, then I'm going to jump off the plane.
What are they doing it up to? Is it East Blue?
It's all East Blue.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they have the technology to go into the Grand Line.
Are they gonna? I know we're going so off topic. Are they gonna filter out some of the fluff and what's it called?
Oh, the
filler.
Filler. Thank you.
So it's gonna be zero filler, but even the regular One Piece, the anime.
That's what I always hear.
It's 1%.
Yeah.
It really doesn't have that.
Yeah, but that means 100
much
episodes, right? Because it's
it's 115 episodes, but
okay,
that's not bad. And even the filler is objectively really good.
Because they don't do like filler. They don't do filler like in between episodes. They do like filler arcs that mean nothing. But they're really fun to watch.
Like G8 is like objectively the best filler arc I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
It should have been canon. Ring Longland, whatever it was, that should have been a filler arc, and I hate that arc with a passion.
Exactly.
If the One Piece show is good, I will watch.
That's what I'm doing. I might like hop in the Discord and be like, all right, is it good or not?
I'll let you know September 1st. I'll binge the whole season.
Yeah.
Unless they're doing weekly. Do you know if they're doing weekly?
I don't think so.
I don't.
I
Does
would
Netflix
doubt it.
usually do that?
Did they do weekly?
Nowadays,
for
they've been doing it.
Okay.
Was Death Note a movie? I think Death Note was a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna do weekly. I hope not.
I hope not either. I won't be able to do it. Anyways, let's get back on Barbennheimer.
So I think we need to talk about the "I'm Just Ken" song.
Yeah,
think you need
I
to-
loved that
It's so
so
good.
much. I probably have most of it memorized at this point.
Let's hear it.
I'm not singing it. That's reserved to the shower. But like, just the whole soundtrack of Barbie. We talked about the soundtrack for Oppenheimer, but the soundtrack for Barbie with like the Lizzo song and like the Billie Eilish song especially.
I love that song.
Because we listened to it beforehand when she released it.
Yeah.
I was like, I hope they save that for a good moment and not just for an end credit.
It's
And it
at
hit.
the moment.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
It was even just listening to the Lizzo song of Pink and then the bad version of Pink is so funny. And the storytelling that happens there.
I mean, again, that soundtrack is exactly like the movie, an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
I don't listen to it just in one go because I can't emotionally handle "I'm Just Ken" and then "What Was I Made For?" It's just not it.
I'm trying to think of also, I think it's the Charlie XCX song. It's really, really good.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was her or not,
Yeah.
but
The Dua song's good too.
yes, that's the other
Yes.
one I was thinking.
Dua Lipa's cameo was
So funny. And then
So
John
funny.
Cena's
In the John
cameo.
Yeah.
it was great.
Oh, that's how you, that's how you do a cameo,
For sure.
especially. All right, as we kind of finish this off, final kind of scores for everybody for both. I mean, you already said 4.6 for both.
Yep.
I'm curious. What do you?
9 out of 10 for Barbie. 8 out of 10 for Oppenheimer.
Okay.
I would definitely say like a 9 out of 10 for Barbie, and I don't know about.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Unknown NA. I'd say a 9 out of 10 for both because I want to rewatch Oppenheimer to see if I have any problems. But it's the 3-hour runtime did feel like I felt it after the end of it, even though I was engaged the whole time. Just little stuff like that.
It was like a hard 3 too. It wasn't like 3 hours, but just really like 2:30. No, it was like
Yeah.
it was 3 on the dot.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much everything that we want to talk about and everything we have time for. So thank you guys so much for watching and listening. We're leading into fall semester, so we'll figure out schedules and stuff in terms of school. Like we always say, school comes first, but hopefully we should have some good content for you coming out soon with the SAG-AFTRA and Writers Strikes. We will see how that works because obviously we want to support.
At least the video team, I've been kind of talking. We're gonna start focusing on old stuff,
Nice.
talking about old stuff, recreating some fun sequences. I think it'll be a good time.
Awesome. I'm excited to hear what's going on with that. And excited to show all of you guys at home. So once again, thank you. Make sure to follow us on all of our Instagram, social, Twitter, X, fuck that. It's Twitter, I know. And then make sure to check out our website. We have lots of cool articles coming out from you two especially. And then me and Stefan will write a couple more stuff too. And yeah, I guess we will see you guys next time.